Hello all. In this particular video, I am actually going to share you how to do agile maturity assessments and basically in the past, what are all the multiple ways of doing agile maturity assessments based on my own experience. So what I will do is that let me quickly walk through you the slides what I actually had in hand. Okay, what I actually have in hand. So this particular slide is actually something. This particular deck is actually something what I had actually created as a part of last week's webinar. So so in that particular webinar, we had a detailed discussion for a couple of hours. However, in this particular video, I'm just going to quickly touch at a surface level or a cursory glance. Okay, one second. So let me put it in a slideshow. Okay, so this is actually a quick introduction about myself. I actually play the role of an executive agile coach, and I also run a program called the Agile Mentorship program. And I have somewhere close to 19 years of experience in IT, and these are all some of the clients with whom I had worked in the past. And in terms of the agile experience, I do have somewhere close to 12 and a half years. And for the past 6 years, I am also part of the interview panel for a Scrum Master, Agile Coach, and Agile Project Manager roles. Okay. So this is something, why actually we actually do the agile maturity assessment, and what are all my expertise and experience in actually doing it, limitations of agile maturity assessments, and also a quick introduction to my agile mentorship program. Okay, so one guy actually asked me why we need to do this particular assessment. If I'm actually playing the role of an agile coach, why I can't actually solve the problem, or rather understand the team by asking only powerful questions? Why we need a way to do an assessment? Okay, so one of the analogy which I generally use in my webinars and in my LinkedIn article and the post is, whenever we are actually going to a doctor, why does the doctor check the vitals, right? So when you actually go to a doctor for any kind of a discomfort or actually an ailment, the nurse or the doctor or the junior doctor probably will be taking your body mass index, like in terms of your height, your weight, your body mass index, and then followed by the temperature, followed by the pulse rate, and followed by the SpO2. Correct? Particularly, during these days of COVID, the value of SpO2 have been is of a paramount importance, as we all know. So anyway, the doctor is a subject matter expert, right? Then why do they need the vitals? Because the vitals are indicators of the current health status of the patient. Of course, the doctor is going to have some conversation with the patient to understand the intricate aspects of the ailment, and may even further recommend further test too, like in terms of a blood test or in terms of an X-ray or a scan, whatever it is. So what is that we are trying to say is, we need to have an indicator in the place so as to know the agile maturity level. Whether those particular indicators are comprehensive in itself or not, that's a different question altogether. However, to begin the transformation, or for me even to create a coaching plan, or rather co-create a coaching plan, it is always better to know the current state of maturity of the team. I cannot understand the current state of the maturity of the team in a detailed manner if I don't have a structured approach to do an agile maturity assessment. Okay. Now, whenever you are talking about assessments, it can be done across multiple layers or levels. Something at a team level for your Scrum, Kanban, DevOps team, something at a program layer. For example, if I'm taking SAFe, probably I can do an art level assessment, agile release train level assessment. And if I'm taking a portfolio level, probably I can do a lean portfolio management related assessments. And then we can do we can actually do an OKR workshop, and then followed by some kind of an assessment for a organizational agility, and also for the level of a CXO. So when you do a okay, so when I use the word CXO, it could be CEO, CFO, CIO, CTO, because in one of my recent engagement, I have done an assessment to actually get to know what is the business agility level at a board of directors or at a CXO level, how actually they are supportive to it, or rather how far they are supportive to it. Okay, so probably whenever you are trying to define the assessment, the strategy, the approach, first you define the boundary or the scope of the assessment. Don't actually begin the task without defining the boundary or the scope of the assessment. So once you have defined the boundary, then probably you can get into the intricate aspects. Okay, now here, this is a team level assessment as the slide indicates. So if I quickly toggle to the sheet, probably this is a sheet what has been used in some of my previous engagements, because nowadays I'm not doing anything at a team level. I actually do assessments pertaining to business agility level only at a leadership or a board of directors. But then long back, 6 years back, 7 years back, 8 years back, somewhere down the line, or rather somewhere in the past, these are all some of the sheets which have been used. So probably whenever my scrum master, whenever my team level agile coaches, or whenever my RTE comes to me for a mentoring and coaching sessions, I actually used to share them these particular templates and also the context behind the templates. Okay. Okay, all right. So if you just take a look into this particular sheet, this is a summary sheet wherein I'm just going to define the context, followed by the parameters. So followed by the actual sheet, wherein you can see multiple parameters have been carved out in the column B. It could be both in the column A and B. Column A could be a high level parameter, and the column B could be multiple areas or the attributes that need to be measured for the given parameter in the column A. And once you define the connotations across the different maturity levels, probably you can create a radar chart like this. Once you actually put the value in the former sheet, automatically the points will be plotted here, and then you can actually connect the dots, which is something from a team level. Now, if we are talking about a SAFe assessment, many of them know SAFe by default gives a template to do an assessment across the different competencies, and within each of the competencies you do have different dimensions. So you can actually do an assessment like this business agility assessment, wherein you can actually do a brainstorming session with the team, and then probably you can actually create this particular charts based on the feedback by the team. Now, one of the important point what I like to say is, don't actually jump into assessing the teams without setting the context. Because if you do an assessment without setting the context, sometimes I have seen, based on my experience, there will always be a disconnect between the assessment and the teams. So first you need to set the context, explain them the purpose of the assessment, walk through them this particular sheet, and then also try to co-create the parameters by seeking feedback from the sheet. Because see, agile is something which is more of an iterative model, incremental approach, eliminating the waste, obtaining the feedback, and also creating a value centric delivery model, right? Let me actually repeat these lines for the benefit of you. Agile is something, agile approach is actually something wherein there is an element of a iterative development, wherein there is an element of an incremental approach towards the vision of the product, eliminating the waste, factoring the feedback loop, and also creating a value centric delivery model. Okay, so whether you use Scrum or Kanban or SAFe or Nexus, DAX, Spotify or not, whether you use any of the framework or not, if in case your software developmental life cycle follows these 5 attributes, which is iterative in nature, incremental in nature, factoring the feedback loop through a working software, and also creating a value centric delivery model, and also eliminating the waste. Believe me, you are on the path of agile or agility. Okay. So in this context, I may need to use interchangeably the word agile or agility, though you have a subtle difference between the both. Okay. Now the point is coming back to the subject anyway. So these particular sheets can be a good start for you to do your coaching plan, because for you to improve, or rather for the teams to improve, you need to know where the teams are currently, what is the current maturity level of the team, and then probably based on the agile transformation roadmap, based on your emerging quarterly priorities or the evolving dynamics of the organization, based on the business driver and the client imperatives, you can actually define your coaching plan and then take your teams from point X to point Y. Okay. All right. So let us now toggle back to the slides in the interest of time. Okay, so these are the sheets which I actually shown over there. Second thing is something called cultural transformation, which I have done for one of my clients. So when I have done the cultural transformation, I have taken a custom framework approach to actually do the cultural transformation. So some of the parameters what I have considered are the happiness index, engagement score, adoption of agile, or rather adoption, then the retention, innovation culture and the learning organization, task success, Kaizen or a relentless improvement. See, whatever you are seeing in this chart is the final output of that particular activity. We have done an extensive work in terms of creating an assessment questionnaire for each and every parameter of these attributes, and then we have done the assessments, and whatever you are seeing here is the final output. Okay. Similarly, I have done something called a enterprise agility health radar. If you are talking about enterprise level agility, yes, these are all the points to be considered: strategy, visibility and alignment, business roadmap management, stakeholder engagement, release management, portfolio management, intake process, backlog refinement. Okay, now actually some people ask me, from where do I get these particular thoughts? These thoughts came to me, of course, based on my 20 years of experience. The second thing is, the more you understand the context of the product, the more you understand the project ecosystem, the more you actually resonate with the what's actually happening on the play field. Believe me, you should get that ability to create these particular parameters, because the chart comes later. If you don't even know what are all the parameters, what are all the factors or attributes based on which I'm going to do an enterprise level agility, how you can suddenly jump to the final state, right? So you need to identify the parameters, you need to co-create the parameters working with the diversified groups, and then you also need to create a consensus with them, and then create a connotation for all these things, and then get it done. Probably start current goal is, when this agile transformation started, what was the level of agility and maturity at an enterprise level? At the current date, as on date, where are we? Or the date on which the assessment has been done, where are we? And what is the target or the final state? Okay. So these are all some of the LinkedIn posts pertaining to multiple assessments I have done in the past. I will just try to put these links in the description of the video. Probably you can take an offline look. Now the question comes, does assessments encompass everything? Absolutely no. But even assessments can be reviewed. Even the assessment sheets can be reviewed on a periodic basis, and you can keep on adding more value to the sheet. Okay. So I have just given some of the factors based on which we can create an assessment sheet, probably from the retrospective action items, the feel factor of the coach, from if you're doing multiple workshops like a design thinking workshop, waste identification workshop, system thinking workshop, probably you can take some pointers from there, and also based on the outcome based plan to do an agile transformation. So these are all some more parameters. You can just see the slide. Okay. So this is a high level approach. Understand the context or the boundary or the scope of the assessment, and then identify the parameters to capture and measure, or rather co-create the parameter, create a consensus, and then go and do the assessment. Okay. So this is pertaining to my own agile mentorship program, what I actually do for Scrum Masters and for Scrum Masters and team level Agile coaches, and I also have something for enterprise Agile coaches, and as a part of some other lesson plan, I also have a lesson plan for Agile practice head, Agile delivery head, Agile COE head. Some of the Agile practice head of some of the reputed companies, let's say in Pune, Noida, Gurgaon region, are actually my level 3 mentees. And recently, last week, I actually came up with a lesson plan for a CXOs. For example, know something called a Agile for executives, which is like, okay, which is at a very advanced level, wherein I actually take the financial balance sheet, like no balance sheet, the income statement, the quarterly margins, and then I actually literally teach them how do you deduce some strategies, and okay, like actually how do you come up with some hands-on capabilities based on multiple financial things, and then you actually create a strategy at a organization level. Now what happened is that almost 3/4 of the points I think I am already done with the lesson plan. I have actually circulated the lesson plan to some of the industry leaders in my circle so as to get their feedback, and probably in the next 2 weeks time I will be baselining the lesson plan for a Agile for a CXOs. Okay, and then I will share it on my LinkedIn post. Okay, and now in the recent past I have also started with an initiative called a Inner Circle Weekly Mastermind. So whatever webinar which I do on every Saturday evening from let's say from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. IST, it is for the public or the general audience. You can actually register, and then you can actually attend that particular webinar, which has been done free of cost. However, this particular Inner Circle Weekly Mastermind is something only to my mentees group, because the mentees have actually invested on me, like in terms of enrolling in any of my Agile mentorship programs. I actually do this Inner Circle Weekly Mastermind only to my mentees group, wherein I will not cover only the why part and the what part. I will also tell them the how part. Okay, and I will also give them real-time templates based on my experience. Okay, so these are all some of the benefits which you get as part of my Agile mentorship program in terms of real-time templates. See, one point to tell here, when it actually comes to the templates, whatever templates I am trying to give as part of my Agile mentorship program are not the templates which we can be downloaded from the internet. These are all the templates which is created based on my 20 years of experience on the play field. Okay, and I'm very much sure that people know that there is always a difference between a template which has been tested again, which has been time tested again on the play field, versus a template which you can just download it from the internet. Now the second template, okay, the second bonus is that once they join my mentorship program, they will be having access to my inner circle mastermind, and also they will get access to my private Facebook group, wherein I will be uploading multiple videos on agile and business transformation, business agility, all those things. And these are all the commercials. Probably you can actually connect with me one-on-one on for the commercials. These are all some of the, one second please. Okay, these are all some of my social media links, like in terms of the YouTube channel, my private Facebook group, my LinkedIn, and my website. So if in case you feel that probably this will be adding more value to you to accelerate your career trajectory, you can feel you can feel free to connect with me. One second, I'll just stop sharing. All right. So in this particular quick video, I just made an attempt to explain on a high level this particular Agile maturity assessments based on my own experience, like what are all the different assessments I have done, and they also quickly introduced to some of the glimpses pertaining to my Agile mentorship program. Okay, and one more point which I like to tell before I actually wrap up this particular video. no, based on my experience, right, I have seen that some people, okay, or either many of them have that particular mentality that if I collect some 50 templates, if I collect some 100 templates and then keep it safely, probably I will reuse that particular template as a reference for my future need. There is nothing wrong in it. I also respect that particular view, but then collecting the templates and then trying to do a reuse is actually something. Developing the capability, developing the ability to create your own custom template as per the context is actually something else. Because in my mentorship program, I actually don't want to give you a fish. I will teach you how to do fishing, so that based on the emerging need or the evolving dynamics of the context, you actually get that real-time capability to solve the problem on your own. Okay, so that is a one point which I just like to tell you, because knowledge should not be equated to creative thinking or intuitive capabilities. Knowledge will give some kind of clarity, but experience is something you get that capability to connect the dots, right? So that is something which I'm more focused in my agile mentorship program. Because if you just need knowledge, then probably you can do a Google search or a YouTube video, or you can enroll in any of the learning management systems like a Udemy, Coursera, and then you can get some knowledge. Here in my agile mentorship program, I am teaching you, I am mentoring and coaching you depending upon your own maturity level in terms of the agile. That's why I'm actually using so many words like teaching, mentoring, coaching, because I have a different mentees at a different maturity level in terms of their agile knowledge, I am saying. Okay, so depending upon your contextual need, I'm going to create a coaching plan for you, and then I will be together with you to not only get you a job, but no, I will be helping you to build your real-time capabilities, so that you are also doing justice to your job on the play field. Because what's the point in getting an offer letter and then actually struggling to deliver value in your new organization? All right, okay, cheers, take care, bye.